anything you want to change in your life, you gotta start somewhere.
You need to be dialed in. If you don't know what those steps are, what are you going to tell AI?
AI is allowing us to.
I'm going to hard disagree on that one. They have something in their brain that nobody else does.
Start with the problem.
Totally transform the way that I use AI.
I am excited to be on this journey with you. I will say we're onto something, and it feels like we are.
Love you.
I love you too.
I'm so excited, but I'm also scared shitless. I'm glad that we haven't tried to kill each other yet.
It's nice.
You look like you're ready to go.
I've got my cheat sheet right here.
Well, this week we're going to do something a little bit different. We've released 12 episodes, I believe, and it's been a while since it's been just the two of us. So
I'm excited to just hear your thoughts and what we've learned.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what today is going to be about, is we're just going to do a little bit of reflecting, year in review, if you will, of what some of the themes were and what we learned. So I actually don't know what Dan is going to say.
It's right here.
Yeah, he's prepared some stuff, but why don't you take it away?
All right. So I think the best place for us to start is the spark. I heard this from a bunch of people, from Tiago to so many other guests. But one thing that Jess Ramos gave us as a really, really good insight was put ChatGPT, and it could be any large language model, any LLM, make it the first place you go to.
I would recommend someone gets it on their phone so they can easily use it in their daily life without as much friction, and just start using it as a search engine. Ask questions throughout the day, treat it kind of like you treat Google, and just get kind of familiar with it and learn how to write basic prompts to get what you need.
Well, and I noticed this on your phone, you made it like a primary widget.
Yeah, I did it. And now on different pages, we have iPhones. On different pages of the iPhone, I have ChatGPT on one and Gemini on the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gemini has gotten good.
Yeah, well, Nana Banana.
Nanoban. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, on that note of just using it more often, I mean, there's a balance, right? Like you almost want to be cautious of using it too much, but just playing around with it. Like Shri, she is a chief information officer, right? CIO. So super, super technical, so badass. And her parents are building a house in India.
I'll tell you, I'm not a designer. So they did a house elevation and then I didn't like certain aspects of it. So all I did is I uploaded that image into Nana Banana and I said, change this, and then give me a more this type of criteria design. It gave me super awesome designs. Even the interior designer was not able to figure out these fancy designs. So I feel like I'm a designer now.
But yeah, what came out was really cool. And I just being comfortable experimenting.
Yeah, for those of us who are still learning,
which is everyone.
Yeah, which is everyone, is trying to think of, all right, within a problem you have in your day, whether it is my planet is dying, or I need to create a creative way for my child to draw as her friend is coming over, which you did beautifully, and she was so proud of it. But it's like, well, can AI do this? I don't know. It's moving so fast. Maybe it can.
Yeah. And like what I tried to do yesterday is different than a month prior. So like keep trying, keep experimenting.
Can I give a quote from Shri?
Do it.
So Shri said, you have to be a continuous learner.
We all have to have some learning time, even if it's 15 minutes. Whatever we knew before is not going to be enough. Whatever you're doing, agnostic to the job, we need to learn new things.
From such a cerebral, thoughtful, successful woman, just 15 minutes a day. I mean, it's like any habit, anything you want to change in your life, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about problems, right? Like how does AI solve problems? And this is something that Scott Bargon brought up multiple times, is like, we're all so enamored with the features that AI has, like all the cool things they can do in the agents or the images from Nano Banana. And I think it's fine to play with the features that they have for like the sake of being fun, but when it comes to actually implementing technology, it's you need to start with the problem.
Let's look at what we could be doing better, experiment and then scale, versus coming the other way of like, I have a tool, where can I put it? It's when we then start to understand why we've hit a dead end that AI becomes really freaking interesting. Then we can open the door to all the toys.
And in order to find the problem, you also have to think about what is the process, how are things working, which is also what Tiago said of like like AI adoption is so low because people don't have processes yet.
Companies cannot adopt AI because they're not process centric. There's this misconception, which is shared from companies all the way down to individuals, which is, oh, I don't have to get organized. I don't have to figure out my process. You still can't skip steps. You can speed run them faster with the help of AI, but there's no skipping steps in the game of business.
If you don't have a process and you don't know what good looks like, then you can't optimize any of those things. And so it's helped me think about my business in a completely different way. And like I'm having a lot of fun with this podcast, but it's a lot of work for
Yeah.
moi. And I want to get to the point where, I can just kind of like show up and have cool conversations like you do a little bit more than that, but like that is my goal. And so in the process of trying to figure out how to do that, we talked to some consultants that really opened my eyes to how granularly you can break down all of the steps. And there are probably 40 different things that I do before getting an episode out, and certainly before getting shorts out, that I just don't have time for all of those. But it's like, which things do I need to be involved in? What are little things that I can get really specific about the direction and then hire somebody, a virtual assistant or a podcast editor or something to follow all of those steps? And that's essentially what you should be thinking about when you're using AI and creating these agents is like you need to be dialed in so that you can be super specific about, okay, I want you to do this. And then you go to this, you know, program and you pull this and then you update this field. But if you don't know what those steps are, then like,
Yeah.
what are you going to tell AI?
We heard that from Scott. I think we heard from Shri. And I've seen this from some execs and researchers like Glean. And it was recently a paper called the Transformation 100. And one of the key takeaways was you need to figure out what your business process is before you apply AI to it or technology in general, which I think is great for personal and business. So to what you brought up around Scott, is start with the problem. If you don't have a problem in your personal life,
Can't do my laundry.
it can't.
I don't have time for it.
Not yet. Soon we'll be able to like buy a robot that can do your laundry.
Well, no, but I outsource laundry now.
Yeah.
Now we're using a laundry service because I literally cannot do it.
Yeah. Can I go to the next thing?
You may.
Okay. So this is one that I'm really excited about because it's something I see in work a ton, but it's something that I've seen with a lot of our guests is that AI is allowing us to create this world where we are an executive, like a badass executive. Like you are the CEO of a $100 billion company and you have a team of 10 people around you that can help you with thinking through your strategy, thinking through design, thinking through messaging, thinking through your business process. You can use AI for each one of these things. And so it's kind of democratizing access to being an executive. And I think the thing that is the huge unlock is just thinking like a key executive at a big company has a human to do all those things. And yes, we're not going to get human level output, but we're going to be able to offload so many different things that we couldn't do before. So it kind of unlocks it.
I want to challenge you on that though.
Yeah.
Especially as someone who has worked with CEOs of not billion-dollar companies, but typically my clients have, at least 10 million ARR to, 20 to 50 million ARR, and helping them think through who to hire as their head of marketing, head of customer success, head of product, head of operations. And they're, I would actually argue that like that's what it's not good for yet. And I say that because I've tried many times with, my marketing or business development or whatever. And it just kind of gives me the like average. And I've said, hey, you are an expert at X, Y, and Z, and pull from these different people and all the content that they have out there and give me something specific, like that solves this specific problem for this specific type of company, which is mine. And this is what it's like. And it doesn't give me shit.
Is it just like bland and
Yeah, it's kind of bland. It's kind of directionless. It's like a lot of different stuff. It doesn't like what amazing executives do is like, first of all, they've seen it before and they have an opinion. And they've grown companies that have done remarkably well compared to other companies in that space and of that size. They have something in their brain that nobody else does. And so that's the fun part about recruiting is like, okay, how do you even ask the right questions to figure out who that person is? And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but my point is I actually don't think that ChatGPT is good for LLMs are good for that right now. I'm not trying to burst your bubble because I love you. But yeah, I'm gonna hard disagree on that one. And I think it's the small tasks of like, I know that you need to do this and this is how you should do it and go. But there are some creative things like show notes and stuff like that for this. And then I'm like, hey, give me 5 different titles, but then I'm massaging it and
yeah. Well, I think I might be coming from a little bit of a different place because I work at Glean and it has so much more context, not about just like what I want to do, but how I work. And so I can literally ask it, like, what are the things I should be automating? How should I be doing this differently? And when I ask it for guidance on like, how am I doing as an employee, it is pulling from a bunch of different experiences throughout the organization and giving me insight into what I could be doing better based off of what the best reps are doing. And so like, that's a little bit of a like cheat code.
Yeah, it's a total cheat code. And it's something that like I have yet to unlock for myself because I am trying to create some sort of repository of all the information about my business and how I work with clients and how I work with candidates. And then also on the podcast side, all of the show notes, all the transcripts, all the everything. Like there's so much, like I feel like I'm chasing tennis balls. And I try to create a project in ChatGPT and then I try to do it in Claude and Gemini starting to connect together like Google Drive docs and Excel sheets or sheets.
Yeah.
But like I haven't seen them do that effectively.
It's
And
still
so
not there.
it's really so like as a solopreneur that doesn't have Glean or a super enterprise version of one of these LLMs, like everything is still super truncated and it gets confused and it's not the context isn't focused enough.
Can I adjust my takeaway then?
Sure.
Okay. Well, we all have a personal assistant, maybe not an executive assistant, but a personal assistant. And I want to bring a quote from Matt Croson.
Okay.
We have had some bills, and being in the biz, I was recognizing that the sums looked a bit too large that we owed. So I threw the bill into ChatGPT, asked it to appraise the bill, and it called out inconsistent coding or things weren't matching up. And that gave me grounds to an appeal. And we eventually had a resolution on that. And so these are incredibly powerful tools that can do things like that. You throw your IRS bill at this too, and potentially and see what happens, right? Like it can call out all sorts of interesting things that as a relative layperson may have no idea knowing.
That is democratizing expertise.
Well, it's like the story with my parents. My grandmother, right across the street, is one of the best hospitals in the country. And they have an incorrect medication list, which includes a prostate medication. Women don't have prostates. They've called, they've had her doctor call, they've emailed, they've tried to do it online, and they always get a different story, but it never gets fixed. So I opened up my computer and I just word vomited. And I said, find me the top people at this hospital, their contact information, and then write me an email. Sent it out the next morning. And that day, it finally got solved.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, all right, you have an assistant that can do this deep research for you, where beforehand, you're like, no clue. I don't know where to start. I don't know who to go to. So I think, all right, changing the takeaway. It's the personal assistant. And we all have different, maybe there are different qualities and levels of personal assistants out there.
Well, and on that note too, as a stand-in for Google search, it's super powerful, especially when it's like I'm in Hawaii and I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old and I'm losing my mind. And we're currently in Kanapali. And what are some things that we can do to like entertain my child?
the different, or you can give it 5 different data points.
Mhm.
Can't really do that in a regular.
Yeah, or like
thing
when we were
search.
going to the Christmas Crindle something, I don't know, whatever that market thing was in Denver, and it was like, okay, I have a lunch reservation here, and we're going to the Chris Kindle, I think it's called, market at this time, da 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 da, and where do I park, and what, like those kinds of things, like the logistics.
Yeah, that's personal assistant level, right?
Yeah, like it's not perfect, but like, I mean, next time we go on a vacation, which is like once our kids are in college,
It was just the 2 of us going.
yeah, then we'll use the shit out of it for that.
Yeah,
Okay. That's in a while. So
yeah.
the world will be totally, can you imagine? It's like 15 years from now. No, more than that.
Yeah. Can you go to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we kind of talked about this a little bit with the, like have your process in place, but this is from Ravit, the chef approach.
My
So-
homie.
I know she's so awesome,
Yeah.
and just like such a good, or it seems like she's such a good coach.
Well, side note, we're going to have more episodes with her because she helped me build a Sarah bot. So stay tuned.
So the chef approach, the takeaway is use AI like it's a piece of the recipe, but you have to design it up front.
They make us think that the way to use it is to create some kind of final product for us. Give me my email draft. Give me my grant proposal. Give me the answer to my question. And I call it like takeout. I don't want to cook it. Just bring it to me. This way of using AI also leads to cognitive offloading because we're saying, I don't want to do the task. I don't want to think about it. Let some other entity think about it. Sometimes I get takeout and that is great. But the problem is, like, what if I'm unable to ever cook for myself? So you say, chatbot, first you're going to ask me a question to tell you my initial thoughts. Then what you're going to do, you're going to ask me a series of 3 questions to dig deeper into the things that I said. So the chef designs the recipe and they're also integral to the execution of the recipe every step of the way. It's going to be more aligned with your expertise. And also it will be faster and the quality will be better too because it is more specific to what you need and what you know.
And Scott even said this as well. It's like take 5, 10, 25 minutes and think about what you want to do. That's very similar to what Ravit's talking about. And then use it in very specific places. And then you can have a repeatable process. And whether it is creating content, it is analyzing something, researching something, whatever it is, if you have your process and you know where to insert AI, you are a solopreneur and you're doing so much of this. Have you started to change how you operate given Ravit's?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I totally transformed the way that I use AI. Like, and I think the biggest thing is just the way that I even provide context, the way I structure my prompts. Like, there's always a piece of it where I'm like, hey, ask me questions before you give me something.
Mhm.
Because the reason why AI hallucinates is because it doesn't know something. It's guessing. Well, and it's always guessing, but like it guesses even more if it doesn't know the answer to something, but it won't, unless prompted, tell you that it doesn't know. And so, and who the F knows, like, what's going on, like, from a reasoning perspective behind these LLMs. But before they respond in, light speed, there are elements to their quote unquote thought processes where they're like, I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that. And so you can actually ask it, like, ask me questions about the things that you don't know that you need to know in order to answer this question. And for instance, with prepping for podcasts, like, it'll ask me, what tone are you striking? Do you want this to be conversational? Do you want it to be more informative? Do you want the focus to be on this? What do you want the length to be? Like, would you like me to respond with specific sound bites that you'd like to hear? Would you like to have a list of questions that you're going to ask? Do you want to have bullet points of it? So like, it'll ask me all of these things. And as a result, I'm also thinking through these things that I wouldn't necessarily know before. So it's almost helping me break down those different elements, which is so hard for me to do as a solopreneur who's always done everything from start to finish, graphic design, video editing, on the baby side, like the candidate sourcing, client management, everything. And I have a very specific way of doing things, but what are those ways? I don't know. No one trained me. It's kind of instinct, but like, it's helping me think through what are those steps? What are the different points that I'm hitting? Like, helping me define where my judgment is coming from, if that makes any sense.
Well, it's very similar to the Sarah bot that you created to help candidates think through that and ask them the right questions. Because
Yes.
you could just sit there with a blank piece of paper and be like, tell me your life story and all the important things you've done and all the technology you've used. But it's really hard to
Yeah.
do that unless you're pulling that information out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to kind of coach it. To do
Yeah.
that.
Yes, you may go on to the next.
May I? Or I think, can this be our last one?
Sure. I may have one more topic, but we'll see.
So I think the main takeaway is how people who are going to be the most successful with AI are the ones that are able to use it to empower themselves to be more human and more present. And so it's using this technology to be more human. And I think, there's things in my work I've experienced so much where I don't have to take notes anymore. I can just really be 100% present in these conversations that are really critical.
Well, it's almost like the ultimate literary foil.
Yeah.
Like, we are having to define ourselves as humans in relation to what we are that AI is not.
And one that Neil said, but I love this phrase, a handle turner. Like, don't be a handle turner, be a chef. And it means being intentional. It means recognizing what you're doing and the value you're having, but also, like, when you're a chef, you're in control. You are the one that is creating the recipe. You are the one that is putting things together and calling the shots and pulling the audibles. And I think when we use AI the right way, we're able to do that and free up our mental capacity to do more things that either we like to do or to just be more of a human, which is like, what does it mean to be a human? Yeah, I don't know.
You should ask my Sarah bot.
What does it mean to be a human?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You don't like
can we ask the real Sarah?
I think being a human is, and I've had all 3 seconds to think this through, but is really about, like, is experience. It's feeling, it's touching, it's emotions, it's seeing, and there will be robots that can physically do things, but I think it's that culmination of experience through all of our senses and the way that we feel and the way that we love. And that's what that's what AI can't touch. I mean, they don't love. They can say, "Oh, I love that,"
Yeah,
but there's no heart there.
no. I think Sara, right?
Sada.
I think she hit it nail on the head, just because of her experience working with kids that are so in the moment. I just remember being a kid and not having any worries at all. And it's like I don't have to worry about where dinner is coming from. I don't have to worry about where my clothes are coming from. All I have to do is like show up where mom and dad are taking me, and I get to have fun. And,
Kind of like you in this podcast.
yeah, and
That's what I'm trying to do.
I want to be a child,
I want to be the child in this scenario.
but I think removing the things that we need to do quickly so we can have more mental capacity to be more present.
Yeah.
I mean, even I've used this analogy so many times, and maybe it's benign and people don't care, but just the fact that my plant was dying, and before maybe I would have fixed it, maybe I wouldn't have, maybe it would have taken me 10 minutes instead of 1 minute, but that was draining me, and then it freed me up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think some of the best examples, at least in our lives, that we have seen where AI has really, really helped is exactly that. And that's a good place to start, is like, what do you do that you hate doing that takes time that like you don't really need to do? Like,
Mhm.
I have the transcripts from my candidate calls. I don't need to write candidate summaries. They like an LLM can write it and then I can look it over. And that's something that like, I would leave. Sometimes I wouldn't even do it till the next day because I hated doing it. And then it would take me a half an hour and it was painful and it wasn't even probably as good as, and like the good stuff comes from me being in that conversation, and by not having to take notes and not having to worry about doing all that stuff later allows me to be more present. And
Mhm.
similarly with like the issue with my grandmother's hospital that was trying to give her prostate medication. Like my parents were losing sleep over it for months. And in 15 minutes, I had an email and email addresses for my dad to send out, and it was solved the next day.
Able to take action so much faster,
Yeah.
and then open that up, and it's like all of a sudden you can sleep better, you can think better, you can be more present, and like those things are just draining. And um Simone's episode, he talked a lot about like the human condition and separating your self-worth from the productivity that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
Or even the work product.
and even the work products. But we can again be more present, be more human if we can execute on things faster and close your laptop on the weekends.
Right. And I'm not worried about I have to go write that candidate summary because that took me 3.5 seconds and I just reviewed it and changed it.
Right. Whereas before it was lingering, it was on your brain.
Just worried about that
Every once in a
plant.
while, it was like, the poor damn plant.
We're not very good at house calls.
No, but they're alive thanks to one of the GPTs.
Yeah. Well, and another takeaway from Simone was just that idea of taste. He's a accomplished author. And so, of course, I wanted to ask him about like, where do you use it in your process? And the idea that like taste is even more important now.
I often think about like what gives you taste or what gives you voice or style as a writer is basically the AI rejections that you have, like the things where you say no to Grammarly or no to spell check or no to the first version that ChatGPT spits out. But I do think that as an editor or a way to push and sharpen what you already have is a really nice use case. So if you are able to generate and create the clay, it can help you sculpt that clay into something that is more polished.
And several people said this too. Praveet talked about this a lot, of like framing the output as looking for what you want to reject.
I'm using it to fail faster. The faster I fail, the faster I get to success. But once I know that this is my goal, I'm looking at those outputs so differently because I'm looking for what's wrong with them. I know why I'm using this tool now. It's in my loop. I'm failing faster.
The things that you don't choose, the things that you say are not correct or are not what you want, are almost as important as the things that it spits out that like are spot on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even using it, I didn't even do this more often, but like take all of your guardrails away and come up with something so outlandish that there's no way I would ever think of it.
I don't need any help with that.
You are a little bit outlandish. I love it. Okay, I have one more final takeaway.
I thought the last one was the last one.
The last
You
one is
only get
never
one.
the last one.
You only get one. Okay,
I've
go.
had. I am excited to be on this journey with you because we're learning so much together. And we're building together, and we're. It's been 3 months. We launched on October 21st or something.
I'm still surprised you said yes.
It's been less than 3 months. We've had epic guests, and they all say we're onto something. And it feels like we are, and maybe our minds are expanding faster than we think they are. But I'm just so excited to be on this with you, building this, learning together, and finding something that's as important for us to leave as a bit of a legacy.
Love you.
I love you too.
I'm excited. And it's been a real challenge. I'm nervous. I'm so excited for January, but I'm also scared shitless because I am so stretched thin just with Bayview, and this is another full-time job. So but it's good because you almost need that, you need that thing to force you to change and to force you to optimize and force you to be better. So so that was not as poignant or sweet as what you said. But I'm excited to be on this journey with you too. And yeah, I'm glad that we haven't tried to kill each other yet.
It's nice.
But that's the first thing that we said when we started this is if this negatively impacts our relationship, pull the plug immediately.
Yeah.
And
Not worth it.
yeah. And I don't think that we've even, firesides are always a little tough.
But I think it's healthy friction for us. I'm growing, I'm learning more about you and how you work and how you operate. And I don't know if you're learning anything about me, but I'm learning a lot about you.
Very.
And I think from this experience, we can be better partners and show up for each other better.
I agree. Well, that's a nice note to leave it on. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas.
We're going to and I. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to Promptly Speaking. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider rating, writing a review, sharing it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on new episodes. And we want to hear from you. Send your questions, comments, and favorite AI use cases to hello@promptlyspeakingpod.com. See you next week.